Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where according to I Am Wing in the Discord, what we need to do here properly to get ourselves changed over quote-unquote properly is fire this event, which I've done via going into the console here and running the command. It doesn't actually say. The command was event election .11, like that, which fires this event. And what that ends up doing is that makes it so that we have our fascist majority, quote-unquote, correctly, and disables future elections, which, honestly, I think that in the next election, it'll revert us back to being democratic. So I think this is the correct way forward. So we're just going to grab this. It will become the ruling party. Public elections will not be held. So that's going to be the plan at this point. Yeah, we're now officially technically fascist with no elections. So that seems correct, and we're now able to just push on forward. So now that we have that, we're going to be done with this justification in 25-ish days. We should have no problem crushing Al Said, obviously. And we can grab an air doctrine here. So we can actually take both of these. We don't have to make a choice here. And I'm going to take home defense. So that looks... Now, of course, what we need to do is we need to, well, wrap up this justification. So improved anti-air upgrade 1 finished. And we want to absolutely be taking improved anti-tank upgrade 1. These are just passive upgrades that we don't have to do anything to get, and that is huge. So that sounds great. Paratroopers have now finished, and that's also very good for us because we need to get a small paratrooper corps going. So that seems fine for the moment. We are going to take something like, I don't want to take the 43 medium yet. I think for the moment, we can start working on some of these airframes or potentially just work on more fuel refining. That seems fine. So we have free civilian factories at this moment, and that's okay. I'm not actually concerned about that. We can't scroll down further than this, which is intriguing. There's definitely stuff down below this. Awkward. Maybe there isn't stuff down below this. It's just a very strange visual bug, I think. Okay, well, regardless, it doesn't matter. So we've got 278 political power. What we need to be working on right now is we can do region-wide industrial integration, but to be honest, we don't need more building slots. We're in a situation right now where we're resource limited, not production limited. We could trade for the resources. That is an option. But now that we're fascist, we have the option of going to extensive conscription, which I think is good. Once we get down to service by requirement, we start hitting significant penalties. But extensive conscription, the only penalty here is 10% training time, which I'm fine with. So we're going to get that done, and we can also hop over to like limited exports or closed economy eventually. For that to happen, we will need to be on war economy or total mobilization. And we're not quite ready to do that yet. So we need to gain more political power, and that's absolutely fine. So we can get some law changes going, and that will be great. We'll be mobilizing up quite a bit of additional manpower, and that's fantastic. So that all seems good, but we need resources. And we also still need these military high commands. I'm going to grab this army logistics guy right now while I'm thinking about him. This air combat training guy, we're going to grab him too, but we can't do that just yet. So that'll be fine. We need quite a lot of political power to get that all going. And I don't know what we're going to do with Army 5 yet. We'll just hold it in reserve for the moment. So that seems okay. We can actually just have it be drilling to be boosting ourselves up at least a very small amount of army experience. Honestly, I think we're only getting the army experience from our advisor. I don't know that this is actually doing anything because it's such a small proportion of our army, but that's fine. Flexible Navy has finished now, so we can grab nav effort. Perfect. We'll get going on that. And this war will break out very soon. I don't expect this war to be a challenge in any meaningful way. We see that the world tension is actually a little higher than we expected it to be. So that's fine. We're going to immediately attack here. We're going to declare this war. That's going to be 4% world tension. So that's understood, and we're going to immediately launch these attacks. So that all seems fine. We've got them all prepared and good to go. We do, however, need to get ourselves a paratrooper division here, which, honestly, I'm going to leave this basically as it is, I feel like. Yeah, I think we don't need anything other than this as of right now. So I'm going to start recruiting some units of paratroopers. I'm only going to recruit... let's see, we're on infinite right now. I'm going to recruit a total of 4, but I want to recruit them in parallel. So like this. And we'll just set their location to be out over here. Now, we don't have any transport planes for them, so that's, you know, also a little awkward. We're going to need to get some of those going. We don't need many transport planes, I don't think. But do we not have any transport plane templates right now? I guess interwar large airframe. This is not transport planes. Isn't there a separate category for transport planes? Hang on. Let me check here. Let's go into air here. Yeah, transport planes. We just need to research them. So that's something that we're going to want to do. So that's fine. We're pushing in over here. These guys, they should be unopposed. Out over this direction, we're pushing in, and that looks okay. So no real issue here. As expected, they took this area, but that's not actually a problem. I definitely want to head over and grab this victory point here. So we see a naval base here. That's not a naval base, but I want to just walk down like this and cut them off. So that'll be fine. Out over this direction, this is completely unopposed. So no problem there. And we're getting solid pushes in the north and south here. So this looks good. As of right now, we're only pushing with our tanks over here, remember. We're testing that out and seeing how that feels. We can always push with our infantry if we need to. But as of right now, our tanks are doing a pretty good job, if I'm honest. So that looks good. Now, these infantry are definitely making their way up. And they're going to capitulate very soon. We should, by the way, be working on justifying out over here. No war goal type. We actually can't justify against this? Interesting. Well, in that case, our backup is Ethiopia. So we'll get going on that. That'll be a little bit more world tension. And that's understood. But we need to get that started as soon as we can. So that's underway. And at long last, Al Sayed will be under our control. Basic fortification just finished. I'm going to grab transport plane, even though it looks like we can't actually justify on those guys. We're just going to get going on this. It could be that the only reason is because we don't have any way to get here, and once we have airplanes, maybe it'll let us? I don't know. We'll see. But for now, we'll just push our way into Egypt. This is no problem. So these guys have made their way to their designated rendezvous point. And actually, our tanks have forgotten what their designated rendezvous point is. We're going to move in here. I'm going to have these guys attack their capital. Oh, we easily push them out of there. They might capitulate when their capital falls here. We'll see. There they go. So we're going to take all of their territory, and we're just going to full annex this. Now, that's going to, again, be quite a lot of world tension. So that's all that we can take, and that seems good. So we're up to 13% world tension at this moment from just that. That's understood. Now what we need to do is we need to prioritize building infrastructure in these new states. We want to be getting as much of this tungsten as we can, which isn't necessarily going to be a lot. Oh, this was in Aleppo. Yeah, I wanted to build that. Okay. So that seems fine. We can also work on the anti-air that's out over this direction. That's completely okay. We can build anti-air in our vassal states as well. We don't care. It's completely fine. So that's absolutely wonderful. Out this direction, we can build anti-air there. I don't know what resources are in those areas, but we can definitely look at that in a moment. So that all seems fine for now. Now, I kind of put these at the top of the queue, and that isn't exactly where I want them, but we can just do something like that. Now, infrastructure out over here, there's nothing to gain here, but look at this. Tungsten, steel, tungsten, rubber, not bad. We'll definitely get some infrastructure building out over there. Now the question is, do we want to build more military factories? And the answer is probably not right now. Resources are still a problem for us, and we can't get down to this tier just yet. So for now, we could definitely be working on like advanced artillery level 3. It's only half a year ahead of time. Let's get going on that. So that seems great. And we need to have at least some of our units down over here surrounding Ethiopia. So our primary concern is to have our tanks down here. And then we're going to have at least one of these infantry armies here. But honestly, I think I'm just going to send the entire army group. It's going to be overkill by a significant margin. And supplies are actually going to be pretty okay over here. So we can have these supply hubs be motorized like that. And then we'll just need to make sure that these are connected by a level 5 railway. So that'll be something kind of like this. And we've got this one as a potential fallback. Cool. Looks good to me. So we'll get that on the way. I don't believe Ethiopia has any other territories here. So that looks good for now. We will continue to work our way through this. And supplies are going to be a little scarce down over this way, at least at the beginning. But that seems fine. The real question, of course, is, are we going to take a break at any point and allow the world tension to decrease? That's definitely a good question. Oh, I wanted to check to see if we could core. Yeah, I didn't think so. That's usually not a thing in Hoi, so that's understood. We're going to have to use the compliance system instead, which is absolutely fine. So we can see the resistance is building up here. The compliance will slowly build up, but it's fine. Our garrison division template here is currently an armored division, and we don't really want that, do we? Our garrison, if I remember correctly, we want to change our garrison divisions to be like, I forget what the optimal at least used to be, but it was like a unit of cavalry and like MPs. So if we did this, we'd create an empty. This would be a garrison division. And it would be something like a unit of cavalry like this, and then we'd just have an MP support company like this. Now, I don't know if that's actually still effective or if this is at all the loadout that it would previously have, but for now, that's all we're going to do. And we're going to swap our standard garrison template over to that. I don't want this to be the armored division, that's for sure. So we're going to have this be the garrison division, and that will be fine. If we run into problems, we can adjust that. That's not a big deal. So these guys are not all down at this front, are they? We need them to be over here, like that. Cool. So we're now preparing to attack Ethiopia, and Bazin would probably be our next target after that. We're at 12% right now world tension, and the real question is the world tension going to start ratcheting down? Because I believe 25% is the threshold for communist nations, and then 50% is the threshold for democratic nations. So that's our concern breakpoints, right? And that's fine. Let's grab our improved coastal fortifications for the moment. But we do have these 3 infantry divisions. We only need 2 right now. Those 2 go here, and then we can get a 3rd infantry division like this. And then we can assign that unit to our front line like that. Okay, perfect. So that's all fine for the moment. This army is, of course, more than capable of crushing Ethiopia. There's no problem there. I'm just going to draw our offensive line like that. and we'll have the tanks be preparing for it. This is another infantry division that has finished, and we'll get that in here. Perfect. So our training is going fairly well. Our logistics fulfillment, not so great, but we are working our way through our train situation. I want to take a look at that. 3.78 per month. That is way lower than I thought. Let's toss a couple more factories at it. 1.11 per week. Okay. So we're going to let our production efficiency here rise up a little bit, but that's certainly better. It's not good. We need a lot of trains. For sure. So we'll let that work its way up. That's going to come up to somewhere around 3 per week. Something like that. But we just need to work our way through that deficit. 3 per week is still lower than I thought we were getting. Honestly, I'm going to double this again. There we go. And now I'm going to start work on a couple more military factories. So let's get going on a couple of these. And the question is, where? Well, for now, and how many? For now, I'm just going to do something like this. That's like 5. Yeah, let's just get this area completed for now. Just something like that. That should be sufficient. So we finished up our NAV effort, NAV effort, and let's grab, say, cruiser effort at this moment. Let's get that completed. And for our next research slots, we can absolutely start working on some of these. And I want to do that. So we'll grab support weapons 4, and we're going to grab weapons 3. There we go. So those are going to be finished up, and that will be very good for us. We definitely want to start stockpiling these top-level weapons. So that'll be fantastic. And long-barreled guns or improved tooling, this is for our tanks. So production efficiency cap of 10% is actually huge. Why did that just change? Okay, sure. Max speed is fine. And we have free dockyards, surprisingly. So we could toss these in to making anything that we want, really. Like 36 submarines. Our ships are going to be terrible. Absolutely abysmal. That's okay. I'm not too worried about it right now. We will deal with that at a later date. So for now, that seems okay. And the question now is, how long until this Ethiopian justification is done? Well, it's going to be a while yet. So that's fine. The real hope here is that the world tension starts to drop a little bit. It's at 10.7% from us, and we're not getting very much world tension by justifying on Ethiopia right now. So that's good to know. This armored division can be moved down. Absolutely. We could use quite a bit more recruitment in our armored divisions. I'm going to cut our recruitment of infantry in half, but I'm going to double our recruitment of armor. There we go. So I just want to change around our overall focus there. So that looks fine. Quite a lot more armor is necessary, I think. And I would definitely like to finally get this guy in. There we go. That'll do. So we're going to get Ethiopia taken over eventually. What do they have for resources? Tungsten. We want that tungsten. That tungsten will be delicious. Delicious, delicious tungsten. So resistance up over here is going to be a whole thing, right? We should probably start working on establishing our intelligence agency. So let's get going on that. And then we'll be able to start working on suppressing some of this with our intelligence agents. So that seems okay. Low stability, huh? I mean, we are at 64% stability, or actually 82% stability. So we could definitely work on bringing that up. We need more than 25% world tension to run radio propaganda, and 30% for the domestic film industry. So neither of those are options as of this moment. But we can simply improve worker conditions, which is fine. We're actually completely okay with that. We'll need political power to do it, but that is acceptable. So we've got this naval base in Dongola, we've got one in Eritrea, we've got one in Upper Egypt, but we also now have a land connection down here. And I want to ensure that we actually have a fully upgraded rail connection up to our capital, which this will do. Okay, there we go. So that's underway. We still have a lack of trains, and that's understood. We're at 78 in the stockpile. That's 43% of our stockpile. We're almost up to 50% on that. And train production at this point, we're currently at 3.05 per week, and this is going to come up by a decent amount more. So we're going to more than double this. It's going to be about a train per day by the time this gets finished. So I think that's reasonably acceptable. We are still short on some amount of steel and tungsten, which is not surprising. And we've got these free civilian factories, which is absolutely something that we should be spending on our intelligence agencies, I feel like, at this point. So that seems fine, and we're not going to have any problem taking over Ethiopia, assuming they don't get, like, guarantees or anything. Which they probably won't. We'll see. So this is currently at 11%. Okay, so we see that we just dropped down to 10.1%. Changing by 0.5% per month. Well, I think that's actually the scale. We seem like we're dropping by 0.1%. Is that a month tick? Is that a week tick? I'm just watching it for the moment. I think it might be on a month tick. No? Hang on. I think that's a week tick. Let's watch it for a few more days. That was on, I believe, the 25th that it went down. So if it's a week tick, it should be on the 1st or 2nd, something like that. But if it's a month tick, it should also be on the 1st or 2nd. But we know it's not a month tick. It happened mid-month. It's actually probably a day tick, but it's just a very small one. That's pretty much a week tick. Okay. So that feels like it's going down by 0.1 per week. Noted. So we're down below 10% at this moment. And of course, it's going to go back up from attacking Ethiopia. No doubt about that. But we're still 100 days away from getting this done. So that will drop our world tension some amount. We do have a new national focus that we can take here, and it's going to be submarine effort. And we also have access to another trait for our motorized manufacturer. Breakthrough or soft attack? Soft attack. There we go. That'll do. And we've got this as well. This is for our tank manufacturer. We can grab production efficiency gain and production output cost, or armor and defense. And we're going to go for the better tanks. Sounds great. Okay. Next up, we can grab another technology here. Actually, we're basically on time for advanced computing machine. So let's take that. Sounds fantastic. At this point, we can definitely grab ourselves a doctrine here. Do we want to go Marine Commandos or Expeditionary Units? Expeditionary Units. This is about naval invasions here, and that's in exactly the direction that we're going to want our Marines to go. So that seems good. We're still mobilizing up towards that 5%, but it's going to be capping out fairly soon. So that's noted. We also can recruit an operative now, and I would like to do... None of these are particularly relevant. I'm just going to grab this guy. And I want him to be rooting out resistance up in the Luxor region. So we're going to work on that, and that will be relatively fine. Because we want to work up our compliance, and that'll be good. As the compliance comes up, we will be getting more of this tungsten. As we can see here, our resistance is... Well, actually, our compliance here changes our resources, our non-core manpower, and our local factories. So that will all be very, very useful. Now we've got these paratroopers. I don't know what we're actually going to do with them if we can't actually invade here. So there's that. We do want to continue to work on upgrading our intelligence agency. So let's get going on that. Cool. And we'll get this invasion done very soon. And there's interwar transport plans. Okay. So from here, I'm interested in grabbing probably some additional support companies We can just start working our way through this. Yeah, that'll be fine. Sounds good for the moment. So I would like to get one of these interwar transport planes going. And I'm just going to move this up to the top here. I'm going to loot our tanks for the moment. And we'll just get a couple of them going. We don't need many, so we're just going to do something about like this for now. So our civilian train quantity is improving slowly, but our needed amounts are also increasing, so that's, you know, awkward. We're working on it. We will continue to ramp that up as necessary. But it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we're going to be sad that we can't attack these guys. Very sad indeed. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thanks to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.